Cool, cool. All right. Well, I was a little bit late. Had some work issues pop up, so let me go ahead and boot up Kali Linux, and then I will share my screen. Trying to get all this set up, man. I probably should have started at like 5:30, but whatever. I'm gonna try for 5 on Mondays anyway, because I like to be done with work by 5. But yeah, it is what it is. So let me go ahead and start that, and then I will share my screen. Share screen. Let's pick the correct one so we don't have infinity mirror. Share. Sweet. Alrighty. Go ahead and log in. Savage Hack. My super secret password that nobody can guess, and I promise it's not Savage Hack, even though it probably is. Alright, so what are we going to do today? So, generally speaking, I've been doing the, what are they called? The proving grounds from OffSec for the security certs. Uh, did a lot of those. I'm kind of getting bored with those, honestly, because they're all very, very similar. So I kind of want to switch to another platform, which I'm actually going to have to find out the legality of doing this live, because generally on their website they kind of say, hey, don't post any write-ups or walkthroughs until these machines are done. But I'm going to kind of test the boundaries a little bit today, and I'm going to be doing a hack the box. So let me pull that up, and we'll pick one here. Pull up the labs here. Machines. Actually, so first things first, I gotta sign in with the VPN, right? So we will change to desktop and then sudo open VPN. Actually, we'll need lab underscore defiance OVPN, because that is my uh, that's my VPN for Hack the Box. As you can see right here, it's on our desktop. Let's see here. All right, so everything's good. We are connected to the VPN. We have our IP address, so let's select one of these boxes. Where did that window go? There we go. Uh, one of these I've done. Let's do one I haven't done before. What about PermX? PermX sounds like a good one. It's an easy one, so it's not going to take us all day, but I'll see if I can hack this in the allotted time that I have today. Still haven't eaten, been working all day. It's been pretty stressful, but we'll go ahead and join the machine. We have our IP address, so let's go ahead and ping it just to make sure that it is available to us. So we will ping. All right, so we got a ping to it. It's a good sign. So the first thing we're going to do, just like as you would with any other hack the box scenario, is we're going to run an nmap scan, which is just a port scan. If you're not familiar with what ports are, those are how services within your computer are allowed to communicate with other outside entities, like such as computers. It's how they communicate out, communicate in. Certain ports are assigned to different services. Some of them are registered, so only certain services can run on certain ports. Uh, a lot that goes into that. So if you don't know what that is, definitely look it up. If you need resources or anything, let me know. I can definitely hook you up with that. Anyway, so Nmap. So we will do a port scan on all ports, put in our IP address there, and let that run. So what we're doing now, like I said, is a port scan to identify what ports are actually open. So it's going to give us an idea of what services are running on there. Generally, if it's going to be port 80 or port 443, those are going to be your HTTP, HTTPS ports, respectively. And what that means is more than likely it's going to be a web server running on that port, right? So then we can open up our web browser, go to that IP address, and it's going to display a web page. Uh, that is, of course, if port 80 or port 443 is open. And if that is the case, then we'll just look into those services a little bit further, see what kind of uh, things we can do with that web application if it has a web app on there. You know, does it have any? God, I don't know. Th- does it have any? What's the word I'm looking for? Any kind of input in there, so we can try to get some kind of remote execution out of it. Uh, what kind of subdomains does it have? Just all kind of things, right? So we're kind of looking at a generality right now and gathering as much information, enumerating as much as we can, so that once we actually go to attack, it's very precise and we get in with no issue, right? Sometimes these port scans can take a while, especially on Hack the Box, which I'm using free. I used to have a paid subscription to it, but I don't really do it as much. But whenever you do a free subscription to it, you'll have your own dedicated VPN, which is phenomenal and it runs so much faster than the free. Because the free, you're actually using it with other people. All right, so while that's running, I'm actually going to take a peek and see if there is a uh, web service running. Did not mean to open up that many. That's fine. So we'll go ahead and put in that IP address there, and we'll just do the HTTP first. Proxy server. So I was actually using Burp Suite. If you're familiar with that, it is a proxy to allow you to inspect responses and everything from web servers a lot easier. So we will go to our settings. Where's the settings? There it is. Go in our settings. We'll type in proxy so we can turn off the proxy settings. So no proxy because we don't need that right now. We're not running Burp Suite. And let me try and reload again. Nope. Server not found, but it did give us a URL here. So if we can add this to our hosts, so we will do sudo nano etc hosts, add this to our host groups. So what is our IP address again? Go ahead and copy that. Paste our IP address in there, hit tab, and we will copy that URL. So what this is doing is essentially we need it to resolve, we need that IP address to resolve to this URL, right? If you're familiar with DNS, that's kind of how DNS operates. We're just kind of doing it manually. We're not relying on a DNS server since none of this is going to be exposed to the actual internet, right? So all of this is exposed directly within this network that we're on the VPN with, right? So generally, your DNS server is what's going to translate that IP address into some kind of actual thing that you can read, like how we can read permex.htb. So whenever you go to type in a web address within your browser, you'll type it in, hit enter. What's actually going to happen is you're not going directly to that website right away. You're actually going to get sent to a DNS server that is going to look up that URL that you typed in, find the associated IP address for that, and then route you over to that IP address. So the reason that they made DNS is so that you're not having to remember all these numbers whenever trying to go to some kind of website, right? Because that can get a little frustrating. So they made it easier so that you can actually use words. So like this has permex.htb, that would be something easy to remember to actually go to. So that's what we're doing here. We're just doing it manually, whereas if you were on the internet, it would all be automatic, right? So we'll add that in there. Hit Control O to save that. Control X to exit out of it. And now, when we go back to this, it should display a website. Boom. Pretty cool. All right, so what do we have here? We have an e-learning website, education online, education platform, skilled instructors. Nothing I can click on here. Okay, so anytime you're doing these, if you see in the bottom corner here, the bottom left corner, So you see how it says permex.htb/about.html. So we'll click on that, and that actually will take you to another web page, right? Supposedly. Now, if you hover over it and you see the pound sign symbol, or if you're older, uh, or I'm sorry, if you're younger, the hashtag symbol there. If you see that pop up, it's just going to keep you at the same page, right? So, damn, where was I? There we go. So if I were to click join now, you can see in the bottom left-hand corner over there, it has the pound sign or the hashtag. That just means it's going to take us to the exact same page that we are, right? Like there's no additional page that it's going to take us to. So we'll just kind of look at what we can click, what kind of information we can gather from this. Permex, all rights reserved, distributed by ThemeWagon. So generally, whenever you're looking at these, we want to find, the CMS uh, number. Excuse me. Man, I'm drawing a blank at words today. I'm really tired. Uh, so the CMS, which is what this whole thing is, we're looking like for version numbers, so that we can look up potential exploits on the internet for it. Looking for things like these contact pages to see if we can get cross-site scripting on it. So we'll actually test this out real quick, see if we can get some cross-site scripting on it. Looks like I already have a script in there. And we'll send that. We'll just see. Okay, so it actually sends it somewhere. I'm not sure where, but it's not going to be within the screen. It's not showing anything. So I don't think that's going to be used for cross-site scripting. Pages, our team. And while this is going, let's check our port scan here, see if there's any other open ports. All right, this is taking too long. So I'm not going to do for all ports. I'm just going to do for top ports. So we'll just run a basic nmap scan for the top ports. It usually goes by a lot quicker. Yeah, there we go. So 80 and 22. So 22 is for SSH service. If you're not familiar with SSH, it means secure shell. So it's a way that you can essentially remote into other machines. Really, really handy tool, especially for administrators as well as hackers. Fun fact. All right, so I'm not seeing anything crazy with this site. So here's something that we're gonna do. So as you can see here, there are other pages in this, right? So like courses.html. So what we can do is kind of like brute force this, so to speak. We can take a list of known URLs or like directories within these URLs and try them against there to see if there are any folders or files that might pop up that are not displayed on the website itself, right? So for that, I like to use Dirbuster. Dirbuster, if I can spell. Come on, you can load. Man, this thing's running slow today. There we go. Alrighty. And so in here, we'll type in our URL, http, what is it, permex.htb. And we are running on port 80. And we'll use one of those word lists. And so user share word lists. And this is all standard within Kali. You'll have a ton of word lists that you can use for different situations. You can also download more from like GitHub and some of those other places if you feel like you need more. But generally speaking, whenever you're doing these CTFs, you it, you'll essentially use what's here. So let me see. Use small case, I guess. So we'll select that list. We'll hit go faster. So the file extension up here seems to be HTML, so that's what we're going to use. And we'll have it search for HTML stuff. Go ahead and start that. Man, this thing is laggy. I think it's because of all the stuff on. It is finding stuff here. So we have an image folder, icons folder, library folder, CSS folder, JavaScript folder. So this is all typical stuff that you would generally find on a website. So if you're ever wondering how websites are created and shown within your web browser, generally they're pulling from information and scripts within things like the JavaScript folder. They're pulling all of their images from that image folder to display as a website, make it all pretty, right? So yeah, these are all typical things. Owl carousel, not 100% certain with that. I might take a look in that. I need this thing to stop lagging so much. This is kind of ridiculous. I think it has to do with the website itself. I'm going to close this out for a second while that's running. Oh yeah, it was the website. You can see in that top right corner there. Yeah, much better. Much better. All right. Please feel free if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, go ahead and drop some comments in there. If you're on the website itself, you'll have to click another option in there. I forget what it is. I don't know. But yeah, you can join the chat. Anywhere else that you're posting to, I'll still be able to see it within the chat here. So feel free. Even if you hate me, that's completely fine. Go ahead and add that too. All right, so let me go ahead and stop this. I'm gonna check out that library owl carousel because I'm not entirely 100% certain what that is. Oh boy, what just happened there? That was weird. Hmm. Well, that's not good. What in the world just happened? All right. I did not mean to close that. My God, dude. I'm tired today. All right, cool. So we got it right here. What is this called? Permex. Permex.htb. And we'll just add in that library there. No, did not mean to do that. HTTP. Permex. It's a little finicky sometimes. All right, so as you can see, like it pulls up a directory. And this is where all of the resources for the web page come from. So we'll just take a look in here and we'll see if there's anything of use to us or if it's just normal things. Let me actually see if there is an exploit or whatever library this is. Like I'm not very familiar with this. This could be just a standard one, but let's check it out, right? React out carousel vulnerabilities. No direct vulnerabilities have been found. Okay, so No, that's something different. Okay, so nothing associated with that. Sometimes when you look in some of these folders and files, you'll find like credentials and stuff, so not a bad thing to look at. But a lot of the times, it's just going to be basic stuff to make the web page operate. Yeah, so I guess they had videos on the website that it's pulling the image from there in the loading page. That's cool. Huh. All right. So that's kind of a dead end. Didn't really see much on there. So what the other thing that I'm gonna look at is the subdomains, which sometimes actually, let me load that back up. HTTP permax.htb. Just a little quick way to check for subdomains. This isn't guaranteed every single time, but it is a quick method. Sometimes, especially for these or hack the boxes CTFs, go to view page source, and then you're going to control F and then type in href, and it's going to highlight like all of those, right? So sometimes there may be subdomains listed within here. Sometimes not. That's completely fine if not. But it may reference a different website for you, which I'm not seeing anything yet. Nothing here. Nothing that I can see. Oh, well, it was worth a shot. But anyway, we can kind of do the same thing that we just did. Since we were trying to find directories, we can actually try to find certain subdomains as well, right? So we'll actually use another tool for that, and we'll use a tool called FFUF. We use a word list or top 1 million. And as you can see, I used this on another one of the CTFs that I did before. All right, so what this does is it's using this word list. So we use TACW for this word list that I have. I actually downloaded all of the word lists from the Seclist GitHub, which includes a ton of subdomains and all other kind of lists that you can use for hacking purposes, penetration testing purposes. So it's using this one specifically, which is subdomains top 1 million, and it's using 20,000 of them within this TXT file. We use -h for the host, and so we're doing the host as fuzz dot, what is this, permex htb. So the reason we do fuzz dot permex htb is because we're going to try every single combination, every single entry within this txt file, and it's going to place it here within the URL, right? So it's going to be whatever word is popping up dot permex htb. As soon as we get a 200, which is a good to go, as soon as we get a 200 response code from that server, then that's going to mean that certain subdomain exists. So we'll do the -u for the URL, right? HTTP slash, we need to change this to permex. Like I said, I use this on a different HTTP that I did previously. Permex. And then I'm going to do -mc for the response code, 200, and then -s so we can kind of single it out. Uh, anyway, yeah, really, really powerful tool here. Really awesome for finding subdomains. We could also do the same thing that we did here for finding directories using this same program, right? So if we were to do that instead of having the fuzz in front of permex.htb, we would actually include it here, right? We would type in slash and then fuzz. That way, this program knows, hey, I'm going to try all of these different entries here on this part of this URL, right, instead of this part. So just a fun little thing. It's a very, very powerful tool, really, really handy. So we'll go ahead and run that. And if this doesn't work, sometimes I like to use other word lists, but we'll let that run for a minute. We'll try a different word list. If this doesn't work, we'll try a larger one uh, and see. Because I just have a feeling since there's nothing really on this page or on this website here that there's got to be some kind of subdomains. Oh, and I forgot to tell you too. So the dash MC here, what that is doing is essentially telling the program not to spit out anything unless there is a response code of 200, right? So if you're familiar with server response codes, you have, your 200, 300, 400, 500, and there's multiple within like each of those hundreds as well. But generally speaking, like 200 is going to be success. 300 authentication needed, right? Your 400 you don't have access to, like, so for instance the 404, there's nothing there, right? That's within the server response of 400. If you ever see anything of 500, that's going to be on the server side. That is not you having issues, that's their server having issues. So yeah, it's good to know those, especially for this type of work. Oops, did not mean to do that. Let's go ahead and resume. And sometimes this takes a while. Generally speaking, whenever I run these, I kind of look up uh, different avenues that I probably could have taken with this. So we'll kind of take another peek here at like some of the different pages and stuff. Yeah, see like 404 page. So the 404 is actually a response code stating that nothing is here, right? So generally they have a web page dedicated specifically for that. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you just get error 404, but yeah, I don't really see anything crazy on this site. Wait, I thought I saw join us. Let me try that. Join now. So it just takes us back to the index.html, which is the same page that we're on. Let's see. All right, so we'll just try one of these other larger ones, I guess. Let's see. Actually, I'll need to open it up because I don't remember their name verbatim. So we'll go to that works. So we'll change the directory into that directory and then list everything in there. So we'll try this one. This is like the most right here. So this has the most entries in it. Just to make sure. And if not, man, we're really going to have to think through this. Hopefully this doesn't take all night. Whoa, what did I do wrong? I typed something wrong here. It's not showing up like it's supposed to. Seclist, discovery, DNS. Why is this not showing up like it's supposed to? Oh, that's weird. There we go. There we go. That makes sense. I just deleted one part of it. I didn't delete all of this, or the one that we were using. All right, so we'll let that run. Go ahead and close this again because this is taking up a lot of resources for some reason. And I don't like that. It makes everything laggy. And hopefully we get some results with this. So if I hadn't used dash S here, dash S is just stealth mode, so it's only going to show us what is available. If I hadn't included that, the whole screen would just be flooded constantly with just things that we would have to, sort through, filter through. But sometimes it takes a while, man. It just is what it is. But highly recommend. If this isn't on your Kali Linux, highly recommend downloading Seclist from GitHub. It comes with a ton. Actually, let me back out. It comes with a ton of word lists that you could need for practically anything, right? So from DNS to file system, infrastructure, SNMP, variables, web content, all of it. Like it has some really good lists. Guess I can close out some of these. Man, this guy got it in 9 minutes. Then they own the whole thing in 17 minutes. I gotta step my game up, man. That's insane. I feel like they might have Pro Tools and stuff too, though, at the same time. There's a lot of these guys, like especially the web apps and stuff like that. Like I know they use Burp Suite Pro, which has ungodly amounts of advantage than the free version that I'm using. So if they're using Pro Tools, I mean, good on them. But I'll never be able to compete using free tools if that's the case, right? And close all this stuff out. Wait a second. I'm noticing something here. Let me try this. You gotta be shitting me, dude. It's always something so dumb. So what just happened there was I was running this against this host, right? So this host actually included this little slash character. So that's why I was not getting anything. Now I removed that and look, we have two things there, right? So www obviously World Wide Web, right? So that's going to be the subdomain for that. It's just going to take us back to the same place we were. However, you see here there's also LMS. So LMS is a subdomain on that. So we're going to add that to our Etsy host file, right? So sudo nano Etsy host. And this is, again, we're basically doing manual DNS at this point. So we will add tab, and what is this called? lms.permx.htb. Save that. Go ahead and stop this real quick. So let's go back and let's type in http lms.permx.htb and let's check it out. So we have a portal here. This is what we want, right? We want something we can log into, something on the back end. Administrator Davis Miller, admin at permx.htb, powered by Chamillo. I don't know what that is. So let's try some basic shit, right? Admin. See if we can log in. Nope. So that's a good thing right here. If you're ever an administrator of any kind of site, you run your own site, this right here is going to save you a lot of headache. Having an error response code for an improper login or an incorrect login, having it say incorrect login or password, that way they don't know if it's a user account issue, if it's a password that they have wrong. They're not able to leverage information from that. Now, if you go to log in and it says, password incorrect, then they know they have a username, which, okay, I got the right username. Let me just run, a brute force attack on the passwords, right? Whereas if it's like this, okay, I may have the correct username, or maybe I had the correct password and I just don't know what the username is, right? It just keeps them guessing. They're not able to really enumerate from that. So let's go ahead and check out. I lost my password. What was that email address I saw? admin@permx.htb. See if we can reset a password. Platform was unable to send. Oh, okay, so it sends an email, but we don't have access to that email. So I was just seeing if we could reset it here because that would be phenomenal. Millo. Let me see what that is. See if there's any exploits. Camilla. Oh. Camilla. Oh, okay. Stop lagging, please. Camillo LMS unauthenticated big upload file RCE. Oh, sweet. They have a scanner so you can check if the target is vulnerable. Systems vulnerable in versions preceding 1124. Find a version number in here. Camillo 1. Camillo 1. So if it's preceding, then that should be good. All right, let's grab this. So, whoops. Oh my God, this lag is killing me right now. All right, so we'll grab that. We will git clone. I can spell git correctly. Not GTI, GIT. Git clone. Paste in that URL. All right, so we will change directory into Camillo. So we have exploit.py, main.py, and requirements.txt. So before we run anything, let's do a little bit of code review just to make sure we're not running anything crazy or that's gonna, harm our computer, which doesn't really matter because I'm on a VM, but definitely get into the habit of doing that because you don't want to run random things, especially if you're trying in somebody's, production environment. You don't want to run something that's going to just take down everything, right? Because some kid thought it would be funny to upload some script. You go ahead and run it without looking at it, and boom, you're in a lot of trouble. So here's the reverse shell that it uses. All right, so it checks for the URL there just to make sure that you're able to. Checks to make sure it's vulnerable. Then it sends the web shell, which is located there. Okay. Excuse me. So this is checking the vulnerability of the server itself, nothing crazy. Okay. Okay, cool. So let's go back and let's see what it says to run. So imagine we're going to use main.py first. And so we'll need to change this to, what was it, LMS? LMS dot, what was it called? Permx.htb. The target is likely vulnerable. Go ahead. Okay. Easy enough. So this action will create a PHP web shell file in the vulnerable endpoint. All right, let's test it out. And lms.permx.htb. Enter the name of the web shell file that will be placed. So we'll just use the default webshell.php. Upload successful. Okay. So apparently we have a web shell uploaded now. We'll just test this out real quick. We'll do who am I. Oh, let's go back. I need to type in, so who am I? HTTP, there we go. Oh, I hope if I type it in right. Who am I? Okay, yep. So there is a web shell there. That's awesome. Let's try print working directory, pwd. So that's the directory that we're currently in. Whoa, didn't mean to do that. That's the directory that we're currently in. Go ahead and list some files, yeah. So rev.php, reverse shell.sh. So other people were in here right now. So this is part of the downside of the free Hack the Box version. You're gonna see other people's shit in there too. Because I definitely did not upload those. One of these is mine, but yeah, I didn't upload any of those. So we do have remote code execution here. We have a PHP reverse shell or a PHP shell. I mean web shell. So let's see what else was in there because I know there was an exploit for something. Oh, so we can create a reverse shell and upload it on there. Let's do that. LMS dot, what was this called again? I keep forgetting. Permx. Permx. HTB. The bash reverse shell, we'll call it rev.sh. The target server, which is going to be ours. So ours is 10, 10, 16, 46. Actually, let me go ahead and open up a listener so that we can catch that. And we will use netcat-nvlp. We'll use port 4444. Enter the port, so we use 4444, 4444, yeah. Boom! Hey, we got a reverse shell. That was easy. That's awesome. Alrighty. So as you can see, we are www-data account, which is a service account that really has no login. So if you ever see stuff like coming from that within your environment as if somebody were logged in, it's not a good sign, right? So ls, there's all of the stuff I just showed you from the web shell, except now we have an actual interactive shell. All right. So let's take a look around here in CSS file. Ooh, wait, well, we were just in files. Never mind. That's normal stuff. That's all normal stuff. So this is all your JavaScript stuff for the site. Let me go ahead and expand this, make it a little bit easier to see. That's just our library of things. Nothing crazy. I like to just look in everything, just to see if there's any information we can find that might help us out. So I usually start with the main directory that I'm in, kind of work my way backwards, check out everything. If something seems interesting that generally isn't there, I'll go ahead and take a peek in, just to see what I can find. And then if I can't find anything from this directory, I'll kind of look at like other directories that might generally include some information. Okay, so it has something for the Camillo app. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but we'll just call it that. So we'll change the directory into the app folder here. And I have a configuration folder. Configuration.php. sometimes in these, whoops, cat config, I can't type today. Sometimes within these configuration files, they'll have really good stuff in there that you could probably use, talking passwords, usernames, or where things are being stored. We'll just take a peek in it. There's a lot of stuff. I like to scroll and kind of go from the top down. So I'm not actually reading all of this. I'm just trying to find out where the top of it is. I just use this bar over here, but it's lagging so bad. Nope, too far. Too far. All right. Yep. So here we are. Now we're at the top. So database connection settings, localhost 3306. So this is actually for a MySQL database. That's what the port number is associated with. So it looks like we have a password, username and password here. I don't think that port's open though. We'll save this this password here because a lot of the times you'll find passwords in there. People use passwords over and over again for different things, different services. And then username, what was the username? Camillo. Oops. So we'll see if there is actually a user on here with the name Camillo. You can SSH into that. That would be great. There it is again. Oh, I just scrolled back up. Man, my phone is blowing up from work right now. Didn't mean to do that. Oh my god. This lag is going to be the death of me. So let's see. Let's go to. Oh, home's not set. So actually, cd/home. So we have MTZ. So there's no Camillo user, but there is an MTZ. So if that person uses that same password that's set for the database, we might be able to SSH in as them. If that's the password. But since it's the only user here, I would imagine that they would do password reset, right? Or not password reset, password reuse. So let's see if we can open up another terminal. And we will SSH in as MTZ at, MTZ at, I need that IP address, 10.10.11.23. Yes. Let's try this password. Is it gonna work? Nope, permission denied. Let me make sure I copied that correctly too. This lag, bro. This is insane. Yeah, I didn't copy it correctly. I missed 2 digits. Huh. I thought it looked a little short, like compared to what was there. So I was like, yeah, let me double check this. Let's try that again. It does work. Phenomenal. So this user, MTZ, has a database, MySQL database on the server. And for that database, they use the username Camillo, which goes to that Permex website, right? And then they use that password to log into the database for that website. So they also use that same password for their user account. So that's a big no-no. If you ever administer any kind of anything. Don't reuse passwords. That's how hackers will get laterally across your environment. That password reuse. So, well, what's stopping me now? A password? Let me try this old password that this person already used, right? Boom, I'm in. And that's exactly what happened here. So let's go ahead and list, get that user.txt. Let me copy that. And we will submit that flag. Make sure it's correct. Boom, user flag owned. I wouldn't say it was very easy. I'll go with easy. It definitely wasn't anything difficult, but I mean, I can see how this could be difficult if you're not used to seeing like what's in some of these folders and files. Because once you do this like a few times, man, you're gonna pick it up and realize, oh, this is a regular configuration file. This is not normal. This is, what I need to look for. Anything configuration wise, always look at it. Always, hands down. It saved me so much time, especially when I was doing like OSCP. Saved me so much time just by digging into the random configuration files. I can actually give you a script, that'll run and look specifically for configuration files to see if there's any information in there. But definitely always something to shoot for, always something to look at. All right, so now that we got the user flag, we'll need to escalate our privileges because we have a way in now. So we won't need this shell anymore now that we have a username and password, which, well, shit, I lost the password. Fuck. Because I did not copy it down correctly. And I just closed that out. No big deal. We can still look it up. So we can go to this right here. Was it www? No, what was it under? CD opt maybe? No. There we go. CD www. CD Camillo. There we go. CD app. And then change directory to config. And then it was the configuration.php. So we'll cat configuration.php. There we go. Let's grab that password again, just so we have it. Generally speaking, too, whenever you're doing these, it's highly recommended to keep notes on literally every command that you run, everything that you do. I do it sometimes just for the practice, but in this case, I'm not doing that. But it is a good thing. That way you can go back and remember, what steps you took. Especially if you're going to do this for a living and you're going to start writing up reports, you'll need to screenshot everything. You'll need to annotate what commands were run so that if something does go south, you can back at it, realize what went wrong. Or if things go really well, you want to annotate that so you can document it so that whoever you turn this into is able to utilize all of that to, I guess, prevent it from happening again, right? Because the ultimate goal of this, especially if you're doing this for a job, is so that people are better protected. All right, so now that we have that password, let's run one of the favorite commands that I like to run first is sudo-l, so we can list all of our sudo privileges. Right away, we can run the following commands on Permax. So we don't need a password to run sudo for this program here, which is acl.sh. So let's go ahead and go to this, and we will cat out acl.sh, acl.sh. So this is just a bash script. Let's see what it does. I may have to run this. So it looks like it perm target. Okay, so it looks like it edits the permissions for any file within that home MTZ directory. You can see the annotation there from the asterisk. That it's going to be any file within this directory. So as you can see here, anything not equal to this access is denied. If so, then it goes on. Target must be a file. So then we can run sudo, or this is what runs. So it runs as sudo, changes the user permissions for the target file. Now I got to think of how we can leverage this. I may have to. So if it gives root permissions to any file on there, so I may be able to. Let me think about this. This is the tough part sometimes. You'll come across things like this where it's a custom script and you're not going to find anything online about it, right? You gotta kind of think on how to exactly use it. Trying to think. So if I have permissions, I can set or if I have root permissions, I can set a link. Yeah, I can set a link to the Etsy password file maybe. So we'll set up a link, symbolic link, to Etsy passwd, and that will need to be in the home directory of MTZ, and we'll name it file. Okay. So then, let me make sure it's in there. So we have that symbolic link of file there. Okay, so my shit froze. Oh, there we go. Cat file. Okay, so we're able to see etsy.passwd. If you're unfamiliar with any of this, completely fine. I can definitely explain. If you want to know more, I can definitely explain. But essentially, what the Etsy passwd file was the original place that uh-oh, looks like my Instagram thing stopped streaming. That's crazy. Anyway, whatever. So Etsy password file was whenever Linux was created, this is where the passwords were stored in plain text. Uh, for the different accounts and service accounts and whatnot, right? So root, where that X is, would generally be a password hash. But since then, they kind of realized that hackers were getting those password hashes very easily through that. So they actually created another file called the shadow file. So now within Etsy/shadow, it'll actually contain the hashes for it, but only root is allowed to look at the shadow file. Uh, this X just annotates that the password hash is actually located within that shadow file. However, if we had a password hash within here, that password hash would actually work for that user account. So that's kind of what passwd is, as well as the shadow file. If you want more information on that, I can definitely get you that. But For time's sake, I'm gonna keep going here. All right, so we have access to that, right? So, whoa, what happened to it? All right, we'll have to do that again. What is F? Cat F. Whatever. Uh, Whatever, dude. Let's see. It looks like somebody deleted my shit here, so we'll put it back there. File. So we'll need to run. What was it? Opt acl.sh. So sudo opt. What was it? acl.sh. Uh, it's at mtz folder. So we'll need to rewrite home/mtz/file. Okay. And so what that did, assuming that code worked correctly, permissions to file.txt. So from there, we can essentially write to the file, which is that passwd link, right? So we will need to sudo, or wait, echo. We'll need to echo in, and we'll do pwn, like pwn for an account. Pwned. We'll do pwned. Why not? Create no password for it. 0, just like how all of this is, right? So instead of putting an X saying it's in the shadow file, we're creating an account called pwned. There's no password, right? But we're giving it the root permissions too. So 0 and 0, much like how the root is. So pwned, pwn, wait, pwnd, and then root, and then /bin/bash so that we can get that root in bash. Essentially what we're doing is copying this, but not including that X, but it's going to be a root file or root account. So we'll do /bin/bash. Did not mean to do those. So pwned root bin/bash. So we'll echo that into our file. Okay. So now we'll try su owned, assuming nobody messed with my file. Bruh. Somebody keeps messing with my file here. It's all there. Alright, so we got moved again. Let me try and do this really quickly. So create another link. Nope. So rm-rf. File. Okay. Man, yeah, it keeps popping up on my screen that Instagram keeps stopping. It's kind of funny, but alrighty. Anyway, so we did that. Let's create another link. Try to do this fast because it looks like people are messing with this. Oh, wait, we need to give her permissions. Okay, that's still good. Uh, SU owned. There it is. Dude, yeah, somebody keeps messing with my stuff, man. I don't know why they kept doing that. That's annoying. Another issue you run into when you have people on here, uh, on the free version here. But anyway, so now we are logged in as root. So just a little recap. I know I went kind of fast there. I wasn't explaining much. So the first command that we ran, we created a link using ln, symbolic link ln dash 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 s. So we created a symbolic link named file within this directory that took or that was linked to the Etsy password file, right? So from there, well, actually we created it here. So from there, I use the echo command to input this right here, which is the same thing that uh, the root account has, right? Like I said, that dude, I cannot speak today. That password hash for the root account is annotated as being in that shadow uh, file. So what we did is we took out the X, made it so that there's no password at all for the account that we created, which is pwned, right? Kept in the same permissions and then kept in the same uh, bin dash bash uh, directory, right? So that anytime we type in, bin dash bash or go to use a bash shell, it's going to pull up as a root shell. Uh, so we echoed that into there. Well, first we ran the command to give it permissions as root, and then we echoed that into the file. And then from there, we just SU'd into our titled pwned. I could have named it anything. And then once we do that, we have root. So pretty simple. Let's see. We will go to cd/root, grab that flag. Where's the flag? Oh, there it is. Root.txt. So we'll cat root.txt. Grab that flag. And oh, I didn't even submit the rating. There we go. Submit root flag. Completed permax. Now I probably won't release this video. I know I live streamed today, but I probably won't release the video until after this is retired because I don't really know. Like I know it used to be a thing that you couldn't do write-ups and whatnot for these that are still active. I don't know if that's still a thing or not. I'm gonna have to look into it. If it is, my bad, HTB. I didn't know. Won't happen again if that is the case. But I just wanted to try something different. So if that is the case, I'll be doing some of these machines that are retired, just so I can do them uh, for the video. Kind of teach, as I go along. But cool, man. So we've done that. How long did that take us? I don't think it said. Huh. Maybe it's in here. Eh, whatever. I need to keep working on that. I'll get up to this point to like right here and just don't get the elite hacker, and then it goes back down because I don't do this for the longest time. So hopefully I'll stick with it and actually get past that point. I'm at a pro hacker rank right now, which I mean doesn't really mean much. Just means I do capture the flags, but done a lot of good ones. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. If not, oh well, just let me know. You don't necessarily have to watch me. Completely fine. But Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I guess I will see you all next Monday.